This video is sponsored by Card Kingdom. Use the links in the description to visit their store. Hello everyone, we're doing a Duskmourn draft. Winter's not especially good, and like, he wouldn't be a first pick. I mean, I guess if he was insane, he'd be a first pick, but, you know, he's not in these three colors. This is not a great pack overall. I think Patched Plaything's probably where it's at. You know, it's good in basically every white deck, but if you're playing like black-white or red-white, it's especially good. You know, it's an okay reanimation thing, and then it's just a decent 3-drop to begin with. Saint's Name is good, but it really needs the right deck, and I think, you know, Patched Plaything's better. This is a pretty good signpost. Insidious Fungus isn't bad either, but I think Patched Plaything's a little bit better. Well, okay, a lot going on here. That's like the opposite of our first pack. So, Brood Spinner's really good. I like Glassworks a lot. I like Spineseeker Centipede a lot. Mindskinner's cool, but hard enough to cast and easy enough to kill that it's nothing super special. Diversion Specialist is good in every white deck, every red deck rather, but can be good, especially in black-red. I mean, I think Brood Spinner has like the highest ceiling of everything, and I am tempted to take it because of that. The fact that there's 2 good red cards here also makes it pretty likely that people jump on red, but if I take the other one, like I said, I like the Centipede too. I don't know, though. I mean, as good as Brood Spinner is, the chances that we end up playing it aren't that high since it's 2 colors. Like, I think taking a good mono red card is probably slightly better, so let's do that. Okay, I like Unsettling Twins a lot. Fear of Being Hunted's not bad. I like Shard Mage's Rescue too. If I was like super convinced I was going to be red-white aggro, I think I'd be more in on it. As is, I think I'd rather take the card that's good in like every white deck. So that's what I'm going to do. I do like Friendly Ghost. Okay, too. Like, if I'm already red-white, these are both cards I take. I think this is a card that can actually pull you into white a little bit. You know, it's that good. And obviously the Leyline's not. These black cards aren't great. Live or Die's not bad. Black has some weak commons in this format, though, and unfortunately for it. Another Fear of Being Hunted. Another Glassworks. Well, I think we take the Glassworks. It's great in every red deck. It's even splashable. A lot of these doors on one side at least require double mana. This one doesn't. I do like Hand That Feeds as an aggro card, and Jump Scare is going to be good if we really end up in an aggro deck. However, you know, Glassworks is good in all those decks too. So, okay, so here we could think about taking a trick. Turn Inside Out's a good one. Living Phone right now does the only 2 creatures we have. It will hit. I do like Conductive Machete. Okay, Innocuous Rats isn't bad, but we'd probably take a red or white card here because the ones that are here are solid. I think we take Turn Inside Out. I like it more than Living Phone overall. It is good with Patched Plaything, speaking of which. I'll take another one. Thank you. I do like Impossible Inferno, but I like the Plaything a little more, especially when I have 2 Glassworks already. I'm not sure I've actually drafted red-white yet in this format. I mean, I know it's a good deck, and I've seen it do some nasty stuff, but as of when I'm recording this, at least, I don't think I've drafted red-white yet myself. Seems like it's reasonably open with late play things and Turn Inside Out. Obviously, we need to get some more low-curve stuff going, but Turn Inside Out can be pretty nasty with Patched Plaything, incidentally. That's one of the nice things about it. Like, tricks are good in this deck, speaking of which. Yeah, I think we take Jump Scare over these 2. I think Jump Scare is pretty important to the white aggro decks in this format doing their thing. So I think it's what we take over a Clown. If the Clown was a 2-drop, I might think about it, because it's fine. The Fear of Immobility is fine too, but I think the ideal versions of the red-white deck don't play that many 5s. So, but yeah, we'll take Jump Scare here. Patched Plaything also pretty sweet with Manifest Dread, because you can turn it up for 3, and you get a 4/3 double striker. So, all right, we will take an Inferno here. Pack 2, I think our biggest priority is going to be like 2-drops. I could take Fixing here, but I think most red-white decks don't really bother with that sort of thing. So it's either the Fear or Grab the Prize, and I think the Fear is going to be a little more interesting. I mean, this is a 2-drop, technically, right? But it doesn't do anything to add to the board, so it's not the kind of 2-drop I'm looking for. Okay, I like the Ghost more than Seize from Slumber, especially when I've already got a bunch of removal. Yeah, I mean, this pack went pretty well for like the start of a red-white deck, apart from the lack of low drops. It is a little better than it looks because of the Glassworks, but it's still not great. Yeah, I don't like the Soul Ragers. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we've got the tricks you want and the removal and higher curve stuff we want. Now we just need low drops. Okay. So Optimistic Scavenger is an interesting one, mostly because, I mean, we do already have 3 enchantments, so I think we take it. It's not, like, amazing in this deck. In blue-white, it's, like, better than most rares and mythics. In this deck, it's probably, we're going to have, like, 6 enchantments or something. It's still what we take. It's a great 1-drop. We need low drops, and it's, in terms of 1 and 2 drops at lower rarity in this format, it's probably number 1. So, yeah, it's what we take. We do value enchantments a tiny bit more than we would have anyway. Okay, this is nice. Percussionist I like, but I think I like Fear of Surveillance even more, especially if I'm not sacking the Percussionist. Percussionist is nice. So is the Slayer, but again, we need low drops, and this one happens to be an enchantment, so it does work with the few eerie things we'll have, like our Optimistic Scavenger. Okay, we've got a Possessed Goat, which is an okay one, but it's... If we're not doing graveyard stuff, it's not that good. We do have Valgavoth Slayer, which is good fixing and an enchantment, which might just be the thing to pick here. Because it's not like I need more Friendly Ghosts or, you know, Friendly Ghost and Most Valuable Slayer occupy like the same slot in our deck. Not just in terms of mana, but what they do. Like they come down and they make something attack right away and then have okay stats themselves. And the Goat... You know, throwing away a land's not too bad, and I do need 1s. It's just such a mediocre one. I think I'd rather take Fixing with upside. Well, we take Hand That Feeds here. It's a good 2-drop. We're not amazing at Delirium, but we'll have it sometimes. So I think it's fine to take here. I don't hate Glimmerlight. Okay, so this is better in blue-white. But it's not bad here. It's a 2-drop that adds to the board and then does other stuff. It's an enchantment. I think I like it a little more than Ticket Booth. They're both fine, and I wouldn't hate a Raucous Carnival, but we'd already have a lair, so I think we take the entryway here. All right, Cheerleader's fine. It does kind of seem like red isn't super open this pack, but it's turned out okay for us. I think. Do I want another Hand That Feeds or a Cheerleader more? I guess there's a chance we end up not playing red, given how open white has been, and we might open up something really good. So I think we probably take the Cheerleader here. Another Cheerleader. How good are we with the Ripper? Not especially. I mean, we have a few things we can sack to it, I guess. I mean, creatures can be sacked, of course. Do I just want a Cheerleader in a deck with all these tricks, though? Probably. I mean, it's not exciting, but... It's probably better for us than the Ripper is. Okay, we'll take a Slayer here. Probably don't play the Fear of Immobility in the end, especially because we picked up enchantment creatures in that pack. I will take a pretty much free Percussionist. We could use like a super powerful rare or mythic. That's what we really need. Do like this. Like, you basically need it for the blue-red deck to work. And if somebody was in it in this particular draft, they may be about to go off because that card is what really sort of seals the deal. You kind of need it. I don't know when the videos, what order the videos will come out in exactly. By the time this comes out, there'll probably already be a Needs and Notes out where I talked about how the blue-red deck is basically... it reminds me of the Defender deck in Dominaria United, where you needed, like, the card, which in the case of Dominaria United was the 4-mana 1/3. Take a free ticket, Booth. The 4-mana 1/3 that makes flyers when defenders come into play, or when they're already in play when it enters. And that's kind of what that deck feels like, which kind of stinks for a deck that's supposed to be a color pair that like should work draft in and draft out, but it doesn't feel that way to me. All right. So Norin's okay, but we're not so desperate that I think we take it. I think I'm more into just grabbing another turn inside out here. Like, I think we're just going to be an aggro deck going to town for the most part, and it's great when that's what you're doing. 2 jump scares and 2 inside outs, a bunch of cheap creatures, including patched playthings that can just do lethal out of nowhere. Like, I think that's where we want to be more than on Norin. Ooh. Okay, it's not the most aggressive card in the world, but Ghostly Dancers is great, and we have enough. We have several cards in this deck that are better in blue-white, but this is still pretty good here. We have enough enchantments. Might fully unlock a room for us when it enters. We do have 4 rooms, so I'm down with it. Yeah, our curve's much lower than it looks. This can be good, too. You really need a bunch of instants and sorceries, though. We've got 5, and doesn't really feel like... And a bunch of them are tricks, which... Not really... not really what you want to do with Cursed Recording. So, I like Diversion Specialist a lot, but... Do I feel like I need a low drop more than I need a Diversion Specialist? I think I do. Yeah. The Specialist, I think, is a better pick overall. But I have a bunch of 4 drops that are comparable and not that many low drops. Ooh, well, this card's real good. So, yeah, this has been better than I expected. I mean, I gave it a good grade in the set review, but I did think that the whole, like, it's an Oblivion Ring that attaches to your creature would make it easier for your opponent to blow up, and I guess it is in a technical sense, but, like... It doesn't matter, basically, is how it turns out most of the time. Wow, not a single red or white card in this pack. Oh, wait. There's a Razorkin Horde Caller, which I think is really good and definitely pushes out some other random high curve thing that we have in here. So, I think we need another creature at 2 more than we need another Glassworks. I mean, we've got 2 Glassworks as it is. It's also an enchantment for our cards that care about that. So is Glassworks, of course. And here we will take a ticket booth. Got another Slayer here, but I don't think we're playing it. Probably going to cut like 1 friendly ghost for the Horde Caller. Guess blue-green's open with Oblivious Bookworm still hanging out. I think our deck turned out pretty good in the end. We ended up sort of a weird... Red-White Eerie's not really supposed to be a thing, but we have 2 of the best Eerie payoffs in the format between Optimistic Scavenger and Ghostly Dancers. So, you know, that's pretty much it in terms of cards that care about that, but we'd have a bunch of good enchantments. Several good 1s and 2s and tricks. Probably may not be an impossible Inferno deck. Like 5 mana removal, even if it occasionally 2-for-1s gives us a 2-for-1, isn't like amazing. I wonder whether I play the Lair in this deck in the end. We have so many 1s, we might not. Vanish from Sight is pretty good. I mean, better than a 15th, or I guess it's 14th pick in this day and age, isn't it? Okay, so these are basically low drops. I mean, Ticket Booth, I don't love, but yeah, we have 3 1s that we want to play on 1, so having a tap land isn't awesome. Even if it is an enchantment, our deck's not so into enchantments that, like, I feel like I really need Valgavoth Slayer. Grand Entryway is actually a 2-drop. Yeah. So the Inferno, I think we have enough removal without it, and it's, you know, expensive enough that it's less interesting to us as an aggro deck. So yeah, we're going to cut the Inferno. We don't have so many twos that I love cutting like a cheerleader. Like, I think I'd cut ticket booths first. We still have plenty of enchantments without ticket booths, especially because doors are also being completed. Each door can trigger Eerie at least twice, so... And we're definitely not cutting Grand Entryway or Glassworks here, so... Yeah. Vicious Clown is triggered by almost everything in our deck. Still not sure I love it, though. Yeah, it's like literally triggered by everything. The one thing that doesn't trigger it technically is this, but it does because it makes a 1/1. I could maybe consider going down one trick. And I do like Jump Scare more than Inside Out. So, yeah, cutting one trick. And then either like Friendly Ghost or Vicious Slayer or Vicious Clown, or Most Valuable Slayer. Yeah, I'm sort of leaning towards the Clown. These two just, when you play them, tend to make a difference immediately in a way that Vicious Clown just generally doesn't. So, I do think we run this many lands because we've got the doors and everything, so... And I think we want more planes, yeah, because we do have 2 white 1-drops that we need to play on one, and 1 red 1-drop, and then way more white 2-drops. So that's probably right. And that's also why, I mean, Valgavoth's Lair is tempting, but I just don't think it's necessary. And having it in our opening hand, and then like a mountain or a plains, one or the other is just going to be miserable when we have one of our 1-drops. So... yeah, I think this is what we go with. Okay. Well, looks like a pretty good hand. I mean, we're going to go 2-drop, 2-drop, 4-drop probably. And right now we're not doing anything with Ghostly Dancers, but looks okay overall. Okay. Yeah, so cheerleader time. Sheltered by Ghosts is always a good draw. Pretty spicy with the cheerleader too because could give it lifelink. Just like up front. Since I drew this, it's probably... Yeah, I think it's probably a good idea to play Glassworks instead for now. You know, it is hard to say though because... it's very unlikely they can remove the cheerleader anytime soon, thanks to Ward 2. So I don't know. It is tempting. It'll gain flying. It'll be a 3/2 lifelinker with flying that has killed Osseous Stick Twister. It's pretty good. The one thing about playing Glassworks is it does set up a Ghostly Dancer's turn later where I unlock the door fully and get a 3/1 flyer immediately. So that is an option here. It's just a question. I guess I would also just trade with the Stick Twister and be pretty happy with that. So let's attack with our cheerleader. Yeah, I mean, like, if they trade Stick Twister for cheerleader, I think we feel fine about it. Yeah, does get them halfway to Delirium, I guess, but that's not that alarming, I don't think. Okay. I'm still pretty much leaning towards holding on to Sheltered by Ghosts until later in the game, but it is a little tempting here. Get rid of Balemark Leech and attack them. I can also just Glassworks the Leech and attack, though. And then next turn, if I draw another land, fully unlock this, get a 3/1 right away. We aren't getting anything back from the graveyard, but honestly, that's okay. It's an or anyway, so we wouldn't be able to do both. Yeah, that seems pretty great, so... let's do this. Gain flying. And then if we don't draw a land, it's not like we don't have other good plays. So, you know. That's another reason to hold on to Sheltered by Ghosts, though, is if Ghostly Dancers is in play, we get another 3/1 flyer out of the deal. Okay. They're going to start lowering their life total. I can actually exile that, which is pretty sweet. Don't think it's what we want to do here, but it is an option. Maybe it is, huh? Because they get a huge demon next turn, most likely. Yeah, okay. And we'll also play hand that feeds. So if they do kill our cheerleader, maybe Ghostly Dancers gets it back too. So, you know. And when they get this back, both sides will be locked again. So that is also beneficial. Yeah, that thing can hit hard. It is a bummer that we're whiffing on that last land, but, you know, we'll be okay, I think. So we'll attack. Gain some life. Cast Unsettling Twins. Yeah, we'd definitely rather have a creature. In fact, against them, exiling stuff from their graveyard might actually be kind of a big deal. I have to get it tapped, you know, which is the tricky part, but... It is tempting, you know, even if they do kill our cheerleader and get their room back, I wonder if it's still better to just unlock this and get a 3/1 up front than it is to get something back. It's probably still would be still better to get back Sheltered by Ghosts, I think. How are we doing on Delirium? Creature, Mountain, so Artifact Enchantment gets us there. Okay. They're gonna go to back up to 15 here and load the graveyard. There's our land. Trying to decide if it's worth attacking with this. I mean, I'm not going to be able to turn it face up this turn if I play Ghostly Dancers, so probably not. How close are they to Delirium anyway? They're fully there. Plus, there's a decent chance they reanimate like Shepherding Spirits at some point. But yeah. Okay, so yeah, I think we'll just attack with the cheerleader. And then we'll play Ghostly Dancers and fully unlock this room. So Fear of Surveillance will give us another 3/1 this turn if they don't do something about it. Ghostly Dancers, that is. Plus, you know, this is like pretty close to lethal. Depending on what they do here. Yeah. So they do reanimate a Vile Mutilator. Non-token enchantment. I think we'd rather sack this than anything else. And there's no way for me to get to Delirium, is there? Because Menace on this right now would be pretty good. But I don't think we have a way to get it. So, yeah, we'll just sack this. Yeah, that's one of the premium reanimation targets, unfortunately for us. Okay, that's a pretty good draw. I think I'm kind of okay with giving this up to kill Vile Mutilator. The only problem, I guess, especially because I'm going to get another one back, the only problem is they might reanimate it again. Like, that's where that's where things get a little sketchy, I think. But we're going to get 2 more 3/1s this turn. Yeah, I'm just going to do it. If they take 3, like, that's fine too. Okay. So now we're still going to do this, but we're going to kill Patch Plaything, I guess, instead. Then we'll play Fear of Surveillance and get another one. So, I mean, I guess they need, like, a sweeper, probably. The number of flyers we have right now. Enchantment, creature, and land. Yeah, we need an instant or a sorcery or an artifact for this to get Delirium, which would make a significant difference, potentially, at some point in this game. Even if we brick on our draw this turn, we can unlock Shattered Yard and get another 3/1, so... It makes it a little more surprising to me they didn't block with their Mutilator. Okay. Drawing turn inside out on top of everything kind of makes me just want to swing out. But I probably shouldn't yet. It will give me Delirium on hand that feeds, but I would have to cast it first, which is a lot less good. I guess I could just attack with the 2/2s here and see what happens. Then I could turn it inside out. But honestly, just unlocking Shattered Yard is probably better. And then next turn I can turn inside out. Yeah. We will end our turn, drop them to 13. Yeah, the life gain they've had has been frustrating. I think our cheerleader might finally be about to die, which is not great because they'll get back. They will have to unlock. Yeah, they're not going to have the mana to unlock it this turn at least. But... But yeah, losing one of our creatures is not ideal. So we've got 4 blockers. We have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 attackers. Yeah, and lethal will get through with the help of Turn Inside Out, provided they don't also have something interactive in their hand. Does casting Turn Inside Out up front... Is that actually worth doing just for Delirium here? It might be. I'm going to play Fear of Surveillance up front. Getting Delirium is a pretty big deal, but sneaking the damage through, like doing 3 extra damage with one of our creatures is also a big deal when they've only got 4 blockers and we have 8 attackers, and they can block all 4 of these 3 power things. Oh no, they can't. They can only block 2 of them, so 6 gets through, and then they block 2 things on the ground. Yeah, so that should give us lethal. I think it is better to do 3 sort of out of nowhere than it is to show them where the damage is. Especially because if they had removal for a hand that feeds, that would be really, really bad. Yeah, so we can do lethal here. There is a risk that they have interaction of some kind. Let's just hope they don't, I guess. Yep, we got there. That ghost is just nuts. The one that turns out 3 white. Like, that's just such a good trigger. That's what makes it one of the biggest bombs in the set, is you frequently can just play it, get a 3-1 right away, and then if your opponent doesn't kill it, the value you get out of all those other 3-1s is completely absurd. Okay. This is a much more aggressive hand than our last one is. I think more of our games will look like this than what our last one did. I think I'd probably play the cheerleader before... yeah. If I draw a land... Well, that's interesting that they're more worried about Veteran Survivor than they are about our cheerleader. That was a pretty good draw. Scavenger is awesome. So let's play our Percussionist. Attack them for 3. They must be planning on some graveyard shenanigans, I'm guessing. So next turn, if Scavenger's still alive, we can just play Grand Entryway and put 2 counters on stuff. And they're not going to be able to block, so that's probably the game plan here. Yeah. I guess we can actually Rotunda now. Yeah, that's probably even better. We get 3 counters if we Rotunda, so... And then, yeah, we'll put 1 here too. Hit them for 7. So next turn we can get 2 more triggers. Which is good. Plus turn inside out of me. We might just have lethal, especially if Fear of Infinity is the only thing they have in play. They're going to go up to 10 off an attack here, at least. They might have a buff of some kind here. Alright, they do shut that down to an extent. It's still a 1-3 attacker, so... Undead Sprinter. Wow. That is aggressive. So they're going to go up to 10. We would have had lethal... Is there any value in blocking with our Survivor here? Not really. Especially with turn inside out in my hand. You know, can make it into a real attacker. They might have the exile removal spell here. Sack their thing. Yeah, they do. Well, they did drastically decrease the amount of damage we can do, sadly. Attack them for 3. We'll play the Plaything. Yeah, Unable to Scream is pretty legit in this format. Being 1 mana, getting eerie triggers, like, there's just so much going on with it that makes it so good. So 4, 5, 7 if I play Glassworks here. Yeah, that's probably what we're supposed to do. Drop them to 2. Alright, so Inside Out should give us lethal here. We might have it without turn Inside Out, actually, but we'll definitely have it with it. Since they've only got 1 blocker. Yep, we've still got it, thanks to turn Inside Out. This is one of the spots where... you know, the downside of Unable to Screen shines when you can still attack with the creature, you know? So. right. Yep. Our opponent did a ton to, like, we had kind of a nut draw there, and even with our opponent sort of keeping us from winning on, like, turn 4, which is kind of what we had, we still won that game pretty handily. Got so many counters, even once they put Unable to Scream on our creature. Alright, looks pretty good. Getting the cheerleader in our hand has been nice, especially because we've been able to pretty easily get it going every time. And I think it's what we play here for sure, because there are lots of ways we end up being able to give it flying. The fear of surveillance could help us set up better draws, I guess, but I like playing a creature that, like, if they don't kill it, they're in trouble. And even just putting a counter on it is sometimes worth it with the Rotunda. Yeah, and I think it's probably worth it here. I think it is, yeah. We only get one counter out of it. But, now they don't have a block. This gains flying. And we still have the other side, That's what always makes it even less, problematic, I guess. Yeah, that's not great news. They're gonna have, like, 1,000,000 mana next turn. Give that the buff. So yeah, they're going to have 6 mana this turn, and currently we don't really have a way to deal with a huge threat. The good news is we have 2 flyers. So as long as it's a ground-based, reachless threat, we're still in pretty good shape here. I wonder if I block if they attack with Enduring Vitality. I kind of don't think I do. It's just preventing damage at this point. And while, like, the race matters, there's such a good chance that they have a trick that it just seems unnecessary. Like, right now, we're just going to try to kill them in the air. Yeah, baseball bat. That now we don't have the option to block. A little surprised they didn't put it on their vigilance creature, but I guess they're sort of thinking, well, if they have removal, it's less of a blow here. Ugh. Another cheerleader, huh? Well, right now this is not a race we're going to win, but we don't really have an option other than to race. So I think we play the bigger creature with that in mind, as opposed to getting a 1/1. Like, we're a trick. We're a good trick off the top of our library away from lethal here, so it's definitely the route we're supposed to take to have the greatest chance of winning. And it's not like any of their stuff has trample. Like, we can buy ourselves another turn to finish them off, provided they don't gain some life here, like with the protected by ghosts or whatever. Something like that would be back-breaking, as that card pretty much always is. They have tons and tons of mana and a not insignificant amount of damage. So, yeah, speaking of a not insignificant amount of damage. 4, 7, 10. Yeah, they're swinging for 10 at this point. If they attack, I guess they kind of can't attack with all three of those. Unless they do, I guess. Oh, this has vigilance, so yeah, that makes a difference. Surely they don't tap anything to buff that, though. Right? Yeah, that's gross. We have no good blocks to speak of. They've still got 2 blockers themselves. So unless they make a mistake and tap a creature here, which they don't, yeah, because we have to block or it's lethal. We are still removal or trick off the top of our library away from winning. But we do need to draw it. And we didn't. Yeah. So we can hit them for 5 and make a token. Pretty sure they can do lethal to us if that's what we decide to do, though, right? Because we'll have 2 tokens, I'll attack with 4 things, and I'll only be able to block 1. So if I leave 3 creatures back, is that enough to not die? I think it is, right? Block 2 things. Nope, it's not. Because I would take 4. Bummer. So I think we're probably still supposed to hope we draw what we need off the top, but they're going to put us in a spot where we have to block ugly again. So let me make sure I'm right about this. If I attack with the cheerleader, they go to 4. Then they attack us, tap Friendly Ghost. We block 2 things and we take 4. Yeah. So we cannot attack. Unfortunately. I'm not sure we have a draw off the top anymore that can win us the game because we're going to have to block ugly here again. But I guess drawing our bomb, the 5 mana 2/5, and getting a 3/1 and getting back a creature, that might do it. Stabilize us, that is, but probably not. I guess Sheltered by Ghosts is a huge draw still, as long as we survive, because I can get rid of one of them and gain a bunch of life back, so. So that's, that's always a really strong draw. They must not, if they have removal or something, we're dead, so. I think you're supposed to make your orphans the, indestructible one again. Yeah, tapping the ghost is rough, because that's the only block I have where my creature doesn't die. Interesting. Okay, yeah, I guess they made it so I have to block both of these. We are still a trick away from winning, thanks to flying. Removal won't do it anymore, but a trick will. Rough. We drew back-to-back nothings in the spot where we really needed something, but, that was how that game... That happens to everybody, We were lucky to have the room on that other turn because we that's one nice thing. Even when you brick in this format, you often have a room to unlock. So okay, looks pretty good. We do have like the win the game out of nowhere patch plaything type hand. We haven't done that yet. I mean, it contributed a bunch of damage earlier, but... Two drop, 3 drop is pretty good. Jump scare, of course, is nice to have. Yeah, drawing a 1-drop on turn 2 is like one of the most frustrating things in Magic, you know, where you're just like, would have turned this hand into a pretty insane curve out. Well, luckily it didn't do anything. That always helps. So let's attack. Then play our plaything. So Rotunda alone is like pretty great this turn, potentially. I mean, if I draw a land, I'm probably supposed to play Unsettling Twins, but... Ooh. I can do so much damage here. Oh, boy. I mean, it's a lot of damage no matter what I choose to do. But if I do the Rotunda thing, this hits for 6, and this hits for 3, so I'll hit him for 9. And then we have Jump Scare for, like, lethal. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the plan. That's the best plan, I think. Like, if they just tap out this turn and, like, play something that doesn't fly, we just win with Jump Scare. And that's a pretty likely outcome. And, even if they kill Patch Plaything, it's going to take, you know, at least, like, 3 mana. They might be able to do it with 2 if they have Winter's Intervention. There's a few that can do it for 2. But the point is, we're still pretty close to lethal even if that happens. And if it doesn't happen, they're probably dead. So, yeah, like that. So, it doesn't matter what we discard. And, yeah, now we go Jump Scare. Yeah. There we go. One of those free patch playthings wins we got finally. Ooh, not a good hand. You know, if this had like 1 plains in it, it'd be great, but can't really keep it and hope we draw plains. And it's still not like an amazing hand even if we do. It's just not a disaster. Right, this one is much better. Do I want to put the Horde Collar back because it's more expensive? I mean, the problem is, other than Glassworks, it might be our best card in our opening hand. So that makes me hesitate a little bit, but it is more important that we get off to a good start than anything else. So yeah, we will keep 6. Put the Horde Collar back. Player Cheerleader. So there are lots of ways the Cheerleader gains flying in this instance. Whether we kill the thing they play. Oh, now we don't have to do anything. Yeah, and we don't. I mean, we'll get the 1/1 elemental token. Don't love drawing more lands. You know, if I knew I was going to draw more lands. Yeah, we need to kill that before... That always needs to get killed before it gets any counters on it. And that's what we'll do here. It is kind of funny. It makes the token no matter what, even if it's a 0/0. Then we'll just attack with our elemental and play our survivor here. We are pretty much out of gas. Don't love that. But another piranha fly, huh? Ugh. Now I really wish I'd held on to the 4/4 haste guy. So They've got mana up, which worries me a little bit, but I think I'm probably still supposed to put a counter on the cheerleader and on one of these. The bummer about the survivor is it can't survive the attack anyway, so I think I might actually put it on the rabbit token and then attack with everything. I mean, if they don't block the survivor, we get, yeah, and they, they do. All right, we've got them at 12, which is nice, but we pretty desperately need to stop drawing bad things. Or useless things. Yeah, and our cheerleader's about to get shuffled away. Another cheerleader. Oh, they decided not to shuffle that one away. I guess I play the other one. I guess that's better than unlocking the yard. Yeah, that's a bummer. We're going to end our turn. We've got to draw well from here to have a shot. Ugh. And also, not having our opponent draw that well. We will block that. Go to 10. Oh, man. Let's see. They swing back at us here for 9. But I still feel like our only chance is to find a way to do lethal to them, which is, like, possible with our deck. So I think I'm supposed to hit them for 3 and unlock this. That'll drop them to 9, then to 8. And there's a few draws we have, maybe, that could let us do lethal. We got to do 7 in a turn when we currently have... Well, we got to do 8 in a turn, really, but... Yeah. Well, that game... That's the first game where our deck felt, like, actively bad. I feel like... I don't think it is, actually. I mean, we mulliganed. You know, it's always hard, hindsight being 2020 and everything... If I'd known I was going to draw so many lands, wouldn't have held on to a third one. But it felt like I needed to hold on to a third one so that I could, like, do stuff on my first couple of turns. So I think a world wherein we... God, why does this keep happening? But yeah, I think a world wherein we put back a land instead of the 5 mana 4/4 haste that spits out a gremlin. Like, I think that we might have won the game if that's what we did, but we didn't. And this hand is another bad one. You know, our mana's not great, but it does feel like we've gotten a lot of one-color hands. This hand, I think we kind of have to keep, you know, we have stuff we can do, importantly, with our hand that feeds. Like, you know, we kind of need something that we can do no matter what happens. But then we've got removal, even if we draw more red. But we have 2 of the best cards in our deck in our hand, too, and that's what kind of seals it for me. We do need to find double white, or Ghostly Dancers can't go off, but we only need 1 Plains for Sheltered by Ghosts, so I think we keep it. And we have plenty of time, I mean, hopefully, to find, like, you know, we need to hit a Plains. Now we have one of the other best cards in our deck. Plains off the top here. Just 3 plains off the top here would be great. That would just be wonderful. There's a very real chance we draw poorly, and well, could have been worse. I think we attack. We at least do something we can play, and I don't hate trading it. Just maybe I should have attacked with it. I should have given... Oh, God. Now we really need to kill this thing with Sheltered by Ghosts. Or Glassworks does the job too, actually, at this point. It didn't do its Delirium. But yeah, I probably should have attacked with the Percussionist. Okay, thank goodness. Yeah, we definitely go with Glassworks. I mean, there's this world where I play the Scavenger and get super greedy here, but this thing can suddenly get Delirium and start putting counters everywhere, and I don't think we can really afford that. So we're just going to play this out, kill the Fly Trap, and attack him for 3. They're going to hit us back for 3. So, could play Sheltered by Ghosts here. Playing the Plaything isn't too bad either. Am I okay with trading the Percussionist? Does get me halfway to Delirium. And if I hit another Plains, things get pretty interesting. I'm probably just supposed to play Sheltered by Ghosts here, though. Although, putting it on this is way better. So maybe I'll wait a turn. And it's like, if I'm going to wait a turn, is it better to play the Scavenger first? Probably not. Delirium definitely matters. I'm going to attack with our Percussionist. Yeah, I'm okay with getting in for the damage, too. I mean, it's not maybe as good as getting halfway to Delirium and drawing a card, but it's not terrible. Probably kill my Plaything. Then attack me for 5. Boy. Okay. There are way too many cards they have that can blow us out, and we're not quite at the... I can't win if I don't play Sheltered by Ghosts. Like, if that's where I was, I think I'd do it. But we're not there, so... I'm gonna just attack them and play the Scavenger. Like... You just can't play that when your opponent has mana up, and, I mean... Unless you have to, unless you have no other choice. Oh boy. Yeah, I think we're going to lose this one. What a bummer. I guess if we draw a Plains here, things get kind of interesting, and we don't, of course. Why would we? I feel like I've had worse luck in this format than I have in any for quite some time. Alright. So, we are at the point now where we don't have a choice. Plus, they are actually tapped out, so... Get rid of a Slayer. Attack them for 4. Gets us back up to 7. Luckily, that does not have its... Oh, no, we're dead anyway. Yeah. Man. Yeah, that's, You know, I recorded this in, like, multiple sittings, and it seems to me, I mean, you know, it's confirmation bias. Like, if I'm, like, on a roll, and I was, like, I feel like I won 3 in a row, and then I stepped away, came back, lost 2 in a row. Seems like that happens a lot, but it could be confirmation bias. This deck was pretty sweet. I think we had some significant, like, would our deck have been better with, well... I don't know if I would have wanted the tap lands because we have so many 1-drops. So I just think... I think we definitely underperformed here. But, you know, we did get to go off with Ghostly Dancers once at least. But, yeah, I mean, it just... You know, mana problems are mana problems and they're going to happen.